How's it going? Real quick, we got a couple minutes before we start. My name's Justin Merle. This is going to be the first time that I get the opportunity to share kind of what our community has been doing. So our goal today is to help people teach community, like belly to belly, real life stuff. And so that's just one of our strengths. So if you have people in your team that maybe might be in a new area or just drinking this and falling in love with it, and they need help on shining their light, that is our goal for this Zoom. So here in a couple minutes, we'll start. Appreciate it. All right, guys. It's 10 a.m. on the dot for me. I'm going to introduce myself real quick as you guys invite your teams. My name is Justin Merle. I'm 41 years old, married, got 4 kids, and this is the last thing I thought I would be doing. One of these things. I was a police officer for over 13 years, and when I was introduced to this product, I was just trying to get my life straight. One of my buddies at work had gotten into shape and he was talking about ketones. And I also had friends who were drinking or who were doing a keto diet. And I liked the results, but I didn't want to do what they were doing. I worked shift work. I struggled with addiction at the time. I worked undercover. My life was completely upside down. And so I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I decided to give something a shot. This stuff completely changed my life. I'm now retired from law enforcement. I'm blessed to do Prove It full time now. I work in the recovery world. I do interventions, and Prove It is like this fanny pack opportunity that goes with me everywhere I go. And so now I just moved to Colorado, and I specifically moved here. We built a house to launch Prove It here. That's how much I've drank the Kool-Aid. So we have people in our community who are doing this in a very big way. And we want to share some of our tips and tricks because this is my idea. I worked undercover. I worked with a lot of different people. I've seen all walks of life. And I know that when you're working with people, this is a huge tip I want to give you guys, is no matter who you're dealing with, they have a personal life, they have a public life, and then they have a private life. Okay. You have to gain people's trust and loyalty for real to be able to access some of those. And we have a product that puts people in ketosis on demand, right? Better mood, better sleep, better focus, all this stuff. When anybody tries to argue with me if it works or not, we poke their finger and we go to the next question. So my belief in the product is so good that I just want to, invite people to what this actually is. So if I can help people see what this is on their own timeline, right? Oh my gosh, it looks like another one of those. Oh my gosh, they're not quitting. Oh my gosh, they keep losing weight. Look at all these vacations they go on. It takes 30 to 40 hours to gain somebody's real trust. And we can collapse the time frame with social media, but when we share these personal community building tips, people are so tired of fake news. So when people see our community in real life and it's like, oh my gosh, like all the stuff I've seen is real. And these people have so much energy. That is the best third-party validation you could ever have. So when I first started drinking this, my first 2 years I was in and out of rehab. I was in Prove It, but Prove It wasn't in me. And as I started figuring this out, the people around me were able to figure this out. And so I'm going to to highlight some of our people. Katie Fish, I'm going to go to you first, if you're available. And Katie Fish, didn't come into my business for over 2 years. I was struggling with my personal life for 2 years, drinking ketones, talking out of both sides of my mouth, trying to do the thing. Okay. And then COVID came, and I went to my mentors and I'm like, is this thing going to work during COVID? And they said, buckle up. My business didn't blow up until COVID started, because people are looking for an opportunity, not just a product, right? $250, $500, an extra $1,000 a month, and getting your health in check. People are going to start sniffing around that more. So, Katie Fish, if you want to kind of share, who you are, how you started, and what you're doing, because you have a beautiful Corvette, and when you started, you didn't even want to talk to me. So maybe you can help some of the new people out there.
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you, Justin. My name's Katie Fish. I am from Washington State, the beautiful PNW. I was introduced to ketones 3 years ago. I just celebrated my 3-year approved anniversary. When I originally was introduced to ketones, my friend was like, "Oh, you gotta check out my stuff. It makes me so happy, and you're gonna love it." And I had no interest in it. This stuff kind of like grossed me out. I wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't do social media very much. I was kind of just a private person. And then about 3 months into watching her do her journey with ketones, it was interesting. I supported her. I was proud of her, but I really wanted nothing to do with it. I didn't think I needed it. But what really caught my eye was she was doing some what you guys call KLPs. She was doing KLPs and having all these fun little get-togethers. They were making keto pizza and they were just doing fun things. And I realized, gosh, I don't really have any friends. So that was my first real interest in what she was doing. Was I wanted to be a part of that group. I wanted to feel friendship and community and do fun things with people. And little did I realize that I was suffering in my own alcoholism, and I was drinking a lot alone. I'd stay home alone, and I realized that I wasn't being the mom to my kids that they deserved or that they needed. And then I found myself just blacking out every night until I called my friend and I said, I need help. I need that guy, Justin. Justin does interventions, if you guys don't know. It's his other side hustle. But I need that guy, Justin's number. And she goes, you need Justin's number and you need ketones. You need to drink these things. I'm like, okay, there's your plug. She brought him to me. She brought him to my house. She drove them to my house and said, drink these for 10 days and tell me if they make you feel better. And I said, okay, I'll drink them for 10 days and we'll call Justin. I was 5 days in telling her this stuff isn't working for me. I'm sleeping all the time. But 5 days later, I realized that I hadn't had a drink in 5 days, nor did I desire one. And I know I can't make claims, but the feeling better part is what saved me. And then I went to one of her little meetings and I was surrounded by people that wanted better. I was surrounded by people that were on the same journey as me. It might not be the same health journey, but we were all on a journey for better. And Mel mentioned on a Zoom we were on the other day that trial packs were her thing. She loved them because that's what brought her into the community. Well, we've built a community of people that were brought in because of our community. And we can continue to build that way because people need that. They need a sense of somewhere to go for safety, for support, for love. And so our community builds by doing weekly events, and it's not just one person putting them on. It's Kim and Frank, who I think you'll hear from later, is parents of 5 boys. They do fun stuff with their kids, and other moms in our community go out and we do it with them, and we just drink ketones along the way. We have a bunch of other people in our community that plan stuff often, and we just rally together, and we're all supportive of everyone's journey. I'm sorry if I took too long, Justin, but I'm here. I've been in for years. I'm 2 years sober now. And it's because of our community that we've built that pushes me every day. Yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. So what you just see there is in real life on repeat, maybe once a week. You tell me you can't build a community with that, right? I'm in a recovery community where I go to meetings a couple times a week. Sometimes there's 5 people there, sometimes there's 20, but there's always something. So if you get a community of like-minded people, yes, there's ketones there. But if I invite 20, we got a guy who goes go-karting, invites his dude friends. Only a percentage of them drink ketones. I mean, so at the end of the day, if you're going to go out of your way to build a community, you can kind of build it the way you want. And you only need like Brian Underwood says this all the time. Once you get buy-in, it's off to the races. When he started, he got buy-in from Stephanie Melky, all these people, and they're taking over the world. You just need buy-in from people who see the same vision. It could be go-karting for a minute, and then everybody else is getting healthy except for the one guy, and he's like, dude, and then everybody's arguing about what link they want to use, right? That's just fun community building stuff. Aaron, I'm going to go to you next. Aaron is an MVP machine in our business. I do want you to kind of share the evolution of your mindset of how you started real quick too, because I think it lands. Nobody building a business in my team thought they wanted a business. Not one of them. Not one of us came in here and said, oh my God, look at this opportunity. It was, we drank it, we started seeing it and whatever. Now we're collapsing the time frame. Now I'm inviting people. I got a car I would never drive. Like I bought a Porsche, for God's sakes. It's wrapped with Prove It. I'm in a new house in a new state with a fake grass backyard. That sounds like woo-woo dream board stuff. But I'm just inviting people to that. And it can start with better sleep, better focus. And Aaron has this setup. I'm going to let you share and run now. But Aaron, thank you for I appreciate you doing this.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me on. This is so awesome. You know, I started drinking ketones actually August 2nd, which is today, I think, is my 1-year Prove It anniversary.
Woo!
I started drinking ketones simply for fat loss. I was 405 pounds. I had no desire to do the business. I just wanted to lose weight and feel better. And I, quickly lost the weight and found my groove. Like originally, I found ketones from a TikToker that was unavailable, didn't respond to messages, knew nothing about the community. And I ended up stopped doing ketones. And of course, over time, gained the weight back because I got out of that mindset or whatever. But I ran into a friend. I learned that she was doing ketones. I jumped over to her. She introduced me to the community. And within a month, it blew up so quickly. People are like, dude, what are you doing? You've lost like 60 pounds, like that. And I was like, oh, I found this ketones here. Check it out. And I just rolled with it. I'm genuine. I share from the heart. I don't make shit up. I'm just genuine. And I wanted to get involved. I come from the recovery community as well. I got 10 years clean and sober. And I knew the importance of community. So I dove straight in and, I wanted to stay active myself. So I started a weekly walking group. Everybody's invited to Saturday mornings at Rogner Park in Auburn, Washington, 8 a.m. Come join us. It's a lot of fun. But just staying involved, in the community and, doing KLPs, whether you put them on, join others, help them support. Tammy did one the other day at LA Fitness. I went and joined her, and a while ago, I had printed up this poster size picture of what I used to look like at 405 pounds, and I set it in front of the table at LA Fitness. What a better place to do it where people are trying to get healthy, right? And this other vendor across the way, you know, they're selling pre-workout, and there ain't no way. They pointed to me and said, "There's no way that was you." And I was like, "Yeah, it was me 1 year ago." And so he's like, "I love supporting small business." So he followed me on Instagram, and he sent me a couple people already, which is just amazing. So I mean, I just love this thing. I mean, it just grows. Be genuine and real, and share your journey, and people will come to you. I mean, that's my 2 cents.
Oh, that's amazing. Checks in the mail. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And there's a part of his mindset. We've all been through that. What is this? You know, that weird hesitation, resentment towards what we think's not working. The gentleman that you're seeing that just shared right now, we've all been through that. And so all I try to do is to my new people and say, hey, you know, just like anything you do, James Rice, I'm going to introduce him at the end of this, but you know, if whatever your hobby is, right? If somebody says, do you want to go boating? I don't know anything about boating. And if I get wet, I might not go again. Some people can fall in the water and go the next day and learn how to do all the things. There's something there, right? You can go on YouTube and learn all the things. Community-based marketing is real. The products that are out there have just been garbage. Remember, I worked undercover. I know what it's like to have a good product that moves, right? One that people meet you in the middle of the night in a parking lot for. Nobody's doing that for candles. So if you know that with this product and it puts you in ketosis and it creates these stories, you can build like-minded people, right? There are more people who make fun of me and do whatever, right? But half of those cops who made fun of me are now drinking ketones and they don't tell each other because the product works. So the next one I'm going to go to is Cheryl. She's from the PNW. I'll let her rip. She just moved to Florida. She's launching that area. She's launching it with purpose. And yeah, Cheryl's been here since day one. I found Cheryl like this. My mom goes, at the very beginning, I think she just bought ketones to support me. And she goes, I'm down 20 pounds. I'm not selling that shit, but how do I get it? And I go, let me help you put a social media post up. Helped her do a social media post, and that's how she found Cheryl. So go ahead, Cheryl.
All right, there we go. I had to wait for you to meet me. Okay, hi. So yes, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, born and raised. Moved down here about a year ago to Ormond Beach, Florida. My son came down here with my grandkids about 3 years ago. So eventually I had to follow because he wasn't coming back. So I moved about the same time Justin went to Colorado, but I still consider myself part of the PNW. I still, you know, that's my community. I still have family there and I still go back regularly. And that's where I started. So it was an experience moving here. When you move to a new place, you have no choice but to do belly to belly because you're trying to build people up on social media, but they don't know you. And then building a community here, you know, people are friendly in the South, but you don't have any trust in you. So no matter how many times I would talk to somebody new, a neighbor or a waitress, or run across anybody, they didn't know me. They didn't have any trust in me. So it was genuinely, you know, when I came from a small town where the people that I went to kindergarten through high school, we still all connect and communicate with. So when I introduced this and came on social media and was calling people and saying, you need to try this, it was easy because they just trusted me and they did it. But when you come somewhere new, you don't have that. And even if you're in your community, eventually you're going to run out of those people. You burn through your friends and your family. And so you have to figure out how to build a community around where you're at. So I just started showing up at stuff. My son and daughter-in-law were laughing at me the other day because they've been here a couple of years longer than me. And my son said, Mom, you've got more friends and friend community down here, more people that you know than we do. You know, they're calling me to say, hey, you know, anybody that knows a mechanic? So it's just, but I just put myself out there because I knew I gave myself a year and I'm like, sink or swim, you got to get going or you're going to have to do something different. So I just started joining groups. I got on Facebook to my local, center here. And I was like, okay, women, single women over 50, babes, booze and business. Where can I go kayaking? I joined a little kayaking group. I took a kayaking lesson, which I loved. And I just started doing things like showing up at the same place. I've got these envelopes that have flamingos on them because I went full Floridian. I mean, I went beach house. I'm like the epitome of what the real Floridians are like, gag me because my house is all beached out. I mean, I went from PNW, snow, rain, and I'm living the life down here in Florida. So I'm like, yeah, my house, I've got a lamp that's a palm tree. I've got a flamingo lamp, you name it. I'm barfing flamingos down here. So I went and I got like these envelopes that have flamingos on them. And I go to the same lady at the post office consistently, and I drop my samples off to her. I go to the same grocery store consistently. So those people see me. I go back to the same nail lady, which I never used to get my nails done, but I'm like, I'm going to now because I need to build community. So I started getting my nails done. I go to the same lady to get my nails done. So after this much time, take my boys to get their haircut, the same place. I'm not someone who's usually super involved in school, but I stepped in. I've got 2 kids in high school. So I'm at the high school. Now the principal is a friend of mine. So I just started consistently going to these same people, and I wear my ketone shirts. I joined a gym down here. Same thing. I show up. I always have my Prove It gear on, my swag. I take my shaker bottle. I obnoxiously put my powder and shake it up right next to them all. So they'll eventually ask me, what I've got. And now I've got trust. I've built up enough trust in a lot of these people. They know who I am. They know where I live. We now have conversations. I've got regular friends that I meet up with. And so now I'm infiltrating their groups and I'm showing up in different groups. But it's taken some time, but I've been forced to go and have those conversations. And now when I have these conversations with these people, it's taken months. And some of them are finally like, what do you do? Like, do you have a job? Because you're at the beach. I see you you're at Disney World all the time. Your kids have Disney passes. You're flying back and forth to Washington all the time. What do you do? I just, I drink these ketones and yeah, I just, these buddies of mine started this business and I just help them spread the word. And then they piques their interest because they're like, we didn't know what you did. Like, what do you do for money? What do you do for a living? What do you do? And it's eventually just, it's kind of working. That belly to belly piece of it is just, it's been natural. Finally, after a year, my grocery guy, when I was buying some keto ice creams, which is not normal for me because I don't do strict keto. I'm telling you, I don't. I do more of the intermittent fasting and I eat some fruit. But he scanned it and he was like, oh, I'm doing the keto diet. And I was like, oh, really? Funny you should say that. And I happen to have samples in my purse with my sticker on it. And I'm like, hey, this is kind of what I do. I don't know if you've ever wondered, but this is what I do. So if you want to talk ketones and keto diet, I'm the one. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's great. I wondered, because I'm in there in the middle of the day. I'm talking to him about it, just got back from Washington, but I never brought up the product. I waited for him to come to me. And it might have taken a while, but he eventually did. And now the other tellers are like, what's you got? She's giving him something free. What's going on down there? So same at the post office. But anyway, that's my, building somewhere new, coming somewhere new. It was a little daunting. And I'm telling you, there's many, many days that if I didn't have my community, and I can tell you most of my community friends that are in the PNW have nothing to do with whether I make a dime or are connected to me in that way. That's the thing about the PNW is most people, I couldn't tell you who brought them in the business, how they got connected to the business. We have people that have been on stage at Prove It events and they're from Washington, and Justin and I are looking at each other because there was 6 people in Washington when we started. And we look at each other and go, somehow they're connected. Like, I don't know whose team they're on, but we're like, woo! So that's what we have. I think that we're very proud of is that I root for everybody, especially the PNW, but I root for everybody. I don't care where you come from. If I run into somebody at an airport somewhere and they got a Prove It t-shirt on, that's family. And whether they're snotty to me in the beginning or not, by the time we get off that flight, we're BFFs and we're on Facebook together, because you just can't get away from it. Like, I'm just going to sprinkle you with sunshine until you can't not want to be part of the community. And I just brag about the PNW and what we have. That is what this is all about. It's community-based marketing. No matter what we sell as a community, we could sell it because we are Prove It Strong. We are a huge community. That's why I'm still.
Man, holy smokes. I love it. Is this thing recorded? This is awesome to be a part of because we all sound like completely different. The one thing I want to add to what she said is our team believes this because, you know, Ed Milet says, you're always one away. Dude, you are always one away. I have almost 14,000 people in 10 countries in my business. I only have 4 promoters. Woo! I have 18 people on SmartShip. Okay. I'm building a new community in Colorado. This isn't, you know, my people are way better at building a front line. Okay. You're always one person away. And with community-based marketing, it isn't sales. My wife did real estate. You can crush it a year, but you got to do it the next year. Here is, if I get an Uber driver to lose 15 pounds, he doesn't do anything. A year later, his passenger is some guy who drinks it and turns it into a business. Boom. The relationship we've continued, the events we've went to, me checking in on them and their family, you know, the relationships that you build from the community can almost 10x your one more possibility because you're creating a place they're going to stay for other reasons, right? We talk heavy about recovery, but we have all kinds of other communities. We got moms groups, we got different dads groups. I'm on like this personal thing. Like when I came here, this is super important. I was an addict alcoholic on a hot losing streak when I found ketones. Okay. The only thing I had was the ability to change and hope. That is it. That's how I started. Now, when I talk to people and what I have to offer are morning routines, fitness, I can teach them how to monetize self-care, how to be a better parent, how to identify the stuff in your life that's negative, sobriety, and teach real loyalty. That has come from anywhere in between. In the community you can grab on the way, you're just trying to take like-minded people. I've lost a lot of people who didn't see what I see. But if I stayed and placated them and co-signed their nonsense, I wouldn't be here. So the next one's Kim and Frank. They don't co-sign any of my nonsense. You've heard them referred to a few times here, but they're, you know, ranked 6s. They've, you know, been in the grind since, I don't know, they're going to share. It's been a couple of years and they've done some amazing things. Are you guys available?
We are here. I'm Kim and
I'm Frank.
we've been drinking and sharing ketones for about 2.5 years now. He's done other stuff like this before. I never have. So when I first got into Prove It, I had no idea about building a business or community or anything like that. And honestly, that is how I have continued to build my business. I don't look at it as building a business. I look at it as building friendships. So I meet people and I friend them and they follow me and it goes from there and it builds from there. I first started sharing on social media because, like I said, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. And I came across a couple badasses on the East Coast. Shout out to Wendy and Krista, who are building huge businesses on the East Coast. I plug in with them daily just to make sure that they feel the fire from the PNW because they're so far away and we're so powerful here. I didn't know if you had anything to say. We do vendor events and we try and get the word out and plant seeds all the time. We try and do a couple of those a month and we have taste tests and we have cards that we send out and sample packs that people can buy. And we go to KLPs all the time. You've heard people mention those keto life parties. And it's not just keto life parties in our own team, because the PNW isn't separate teams. We're all one. So it doesn't matter whose line you're in, whose team you're on. Like, if you see something going on, go to it, go where the fire's at. That's honestly, we learned that from Justin. He was a badass at that. Before he moved, he was at every single thing. And we took that after he left, and we try and make it to everything. And we take pictures of that and we post it up so everybody sees that it's not the same people every time at every event. It's different people sharing different stories, and we're bringing other people into that. So.
Awesome. What you got, Frank?
Some other things that we do is like when we hold our own KOPs and stuff like that is, so by trade, it took me a long time to realize it, but by trade, I'm a cook, chef, whatever you want to call it. And when we very first got in, we heard about this reboot thing and it had bone broth in it. And it clicked in my head that was like, hey, bone broth, well, you cook with bone broth, like you make soups and all kinds of stuff. So I immediately contacted Justin and said, hey, what can we do with this? What we can cook with this? Can we, and he's like, the only thing I know is you can't boil it. Oh, okay, well, that's simple. So basically, it took me about a year, but I developed a cooking group on Facebook, not necessarily as like a keto dad page or anything to like build a business, but to build a community within our community, showing people how to use our product in food, whether it be the pros, the nats, the bone broth. And that page has taken off. It's been a couple years and it's slowly taking off. But that's where I get most of my joy and most of my I don't know, building most of my community stuff on my side of doing this business. As well as I've really tried to share it in like I'm a disc golfer. One of my most favorite sports. I've been playing it for over 20 years, and I've really tried to get it into that sport. And that community is what I love about our community, is that the disc golf community is almost one and the same. Like, everybody comes from, it doesn't matter where you're at, everybody comes together as one to lift people up, to help build people up, to make you better, whether it be in disc golf, whether it be improve it, or, you know, improving your life or whatever. So.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We're already at 30 minutes, everybody. So I'm gonna end this with like an action step for you guys. Is think about who you are and what you and remember, it could be who you want to be. Everybody redevelops themselves 4 to 5 times in their lifetime, right? Completely change. I'm an interventionist. When people get sober, they truly have the opportunity to be everything they've wanted to be. They get a free pass because even the people around them give them that space. So if you are on a journey, right, you found this product, you fell in love with it, it doesn't matter who likes your post or not. It doesn't matter who shows up to your KLP or not. If you're on that journey, just find other like-minded people on that journey. If I can connect 3 frustrated prove it promoters together, they end up being happier because they fill in where each other leave off. So, you know, like Cheryl was saying, I go to new gyms, I build relationships now. I do a lot of stuff with the Denver Rescue Mission, blah, 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 blah. I'm building community. If ketones falls in there, absolutely amazing. I have full belief that better mood, better sleep, better focus, better fat loss, they all got energy drinks in their hand that they're going to probably be poking around. So if I can be genuine, build community, fill my schedule with things, right? Like going somewhere, meeting new people. Because if you're currently not happy with what is happening, you have to change it. You have to change something. So even if that's going out and doing one extra thing a week, you might not even want to, but it feels like going to the gym. You never want to go. When you leave, you're on fire. You feel amazing. So action step would be fill your calendar, start thinking the big vision of what you want, and get nitty gritty on yourself, that personal development, and get close to people who want that same thing. So I hope this helps. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to everybody in our team. And when you hear PNW, I want to open that up real quick and say, that's prove it. Wherever we land, wherever we go, you guys are all welcome. And I'd like to extend that out and create, something that everybody can use. So I appreciate you. I hope you have a great Wednesday.